verse 58. And it describes the people who have left their lands, their homes, and gone to another country. Left behind something, but gained something else. So it says, those who emigrated, the Hijra, who performed the Hijra, emigrated, and then they died, or they were killed. For them we have given abundant rizq. We have blessed them with something. And Allah is the best provider of rizq. So today today is the first of Muharram around the world, when we welcome these days with mourning and commemoration and sadness for Sayyid Shabab Ahl al-Jannah, the master of the youth of paradise, Imam Hussein Salamullah alayhi, we look at what exactly Muharram means, what exactly was his mission from Medina to Karbala. What does leaving behind your family actually mean? Your land, your home, what does that mean? Now these days, unfortunately, some of the media shows there's a lot of sectarian hatred out there. This morning in Baghdad, there were leaflets given out as a warning to the Shia, saying that if you commemorate, if you start your majalis during Muharram, we will come and attack and leave bombs at your doorsteps, and we will do whatever we can to disrupt these majalis. I know similar messages have gone out to other cities in the world. Note that the point here isn't that we want you to leave your faith. We want you to stop doing majalis. We don't want you to remember Imam Hussein. We want to put an end to this. Now our best way of responding, in fact, is to commemorate these majalis, is to go to the ziyarah, inshallah, Arba'in that comes when the millions of people march to Karbala. It is also our duty in these programs to explain what Imam Hussein was trying to do. Not what so-and-so wanted to achieve, this political party or that leader. Let's look at what Imam Hussein himself, the master of the youth of paradise, the grandson of the Prophet. Let's put everybody else aside, consider what Imam Hussein himself was about. And we want to use the ethics and the code of conduct the Imams themselves used. So we use their language. Look at the akhlaq of Amir al-Mu'mineen in Najr al-Balagha, when he even writes letters to his enemy. Muawiyah was the governor of Sham, and he refused to give bay'ah to Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen writes a letter to him. It's in Najr al-Balagha, after the speeches section, towards the end. Look at the way he writes. When he stands up, and even in his Shaqiyya sermon, he's very respectful in his tone. So even when in these days we are being faced with hatred, let us respond with the akhlaq of the Imams. We have a great example in Allam al-Hilli. Allam al-Hilli lived 800, 900 years ago. Allam al-Hilli, at that time, one of his, if you want to call him an enemy, if you want to say an opponent, was Ibn Taymiyyah. Allam al-Hilli's title was Ibn al-Mutahhar, son of the purified one. This was the title that he was known as. When he writes to Ibn Taymiyyah, when he writes about Ibn Taymiyyah's opinions, he calls him al-Shaykh al-Ustad, the Shaykh, the learned one, the teacher. Ibn Taymiyyah, look at the way he responds. How does he write about Allam al-Hilli? He calls him Ibn al-Munajjas, son of the Najis one. So we look at the isloob, the adab, the akhlaq of our generations of scholars, of the companions of the Imams, and inshallah in these days of Muharram, we respond in their way. We look at how they communicated with their opponents and enemies, and likewise, inshallah, we use these adab. So use these days of Muharram to speak, especially the young ones, to speak to your friends in school, your friends in college, at university, in your workplace. I remember when I was at university, I used to miss a few days of university. People would ask, where were you? I would say I would go to my center, we've got a program, we do majalis. They said, what is this majalis? What is it for? I said, it's for remembering Imam Hussein. He was killed in the Battle of Karbala. He was the grandson of the Prophet. He revived the religion of Islam. And they would say, can we come and see? Would we be able to watch what you do? And I took a few of them. Alhamdulillah, one of them became a Muslim, in fact. He was affected by what he saw. 1,000 people crowded in a hall, listening to someone retelling a story about someone who died 1,400 years ago. If our parents die, we'll remember them 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, we'll be intensely sad. After a few years, maybe less of a sad event, we might even forget the anniversary of their death. Our grandchildren, they'll forget totally. The generation after that, they won't know when they were born, when they were buried, where their grave is, it'll all be forgotten. Yet Imam Hussein, 1,400 years, we know exactly where he was buried, we know when he died, we know how he died, and we commemorate it as if he died just now. Subhanallah. Look at this man. We care about him so much, we are willing to die if someone puts a gun to our head and says, either you say, I won't follow Imam Hussein, or I'll kill you, we'll say, oh, no problem, kill us. Surely we will stay on the path of Imam Hussein. We're not going to leave. Look at the energy this man brings to us. So let us take this when we hear in our majalis, whether it's in Urdu, English, Arabic, if it's online, if someone else is speaking on TV, and we learn from them, let's take a little bit of we learn and go and tell some people at our workplace. You know why I'm wearing black? Nowadays, it's the Remembrance Weekend this weekend. Remembering the soldiers of the First and Second World War who died from the United Kingdom. What do they wear? What is their symbol? It's the poppy. They wear red poppy. It's become so popular, nobody needs to ask. They know what this is about. This is in remembrance of the soldiers that fell in the world wars. So when we wear black, or nowadays there's brothers wearing pins saying, Ya Hussein, or sisters saying, Ya Zainab, we should say, you know what this means? Can I explain this to you? Do you have a minute? Should I tell you why I was late this morning? Should I tell you why I'm going to miss the 14th of November? I can't make it. I'm not going to be in school, I'm not going to be in university, I can't come to work. It's an Ashura day. Do you know what this is? A lot of people have begun to hear that Muharram is the new year. It is the new Islamic year. Somebody sent me a link today. There's a group doing an Eid event on the 9th of November. Eid event. So they're celebrating the new year by planning an event, calling it a Eid fun event. Going to Chessington or something like that. I saw the link today. So there is not just non-Muslims, there are Muslims who have no idea, cannot really think, what is Muharram about? It's the new year, let's go out and celebrate, let's have fun. So it's your obligation, brothers and sisters. You who have been here, mashallah, some of you have been here in Majalis for 10, 20, 30 years. Take a little bit of that, take 2 minutes of your time. You become a muballigh, you become a da'i yourself. You become the speaking tongue of the Ahlul Bayt. Otherwise, if you attend Majlis, and you keep it for yourself, you commemorate with your family, and then you miss out the other duties. You haven't spread the message of Imam Hussein. That's why he died. It's like someone carrying a giant flag, a marker for everyone, so that they can see what's going on. I'm going to die, I'm going to go into battle and be massacred. My family will be taken as prisoners, so you will think, why did this man die? Why did he get massacred in the desert? What was the purpose of this? This person was the grandson of the Prophet. He's the son of Fatima, the son of Ali. He is living in Medina, he was comfortable. Why? What's happened for him to be killed in this way? So he took this decision. It's like someone who's half asleep. What do? You shake them. Or all the students now, when they're studying, what do? They take some Red Bull to wake up, to keep awake. Imam Hussein is like 1,000,000 Red Bulls. He's there to wake you up, to shake you and say, you know, you need to study, you need to learn. Why is it that I had to sacrifice my family, my children, my whole background of being comfortable in Medina, prestige, Sayyidah Zainab in Kufa, nobody even saw her shape. Nobody dared to look at her. Yet after the events of Karbala, people are pointing and say, that's Zainab. She tells one of the servants, can you go and give some money to the person who is carrying the head of Imam Hussein, so that he can walk further ahead of us, so people will look at the head of Imam Hussein and won't look at my face. I lived in such a way that nobody would dare to look at me, nobody would talk to me. Now this is a hall, this is men only hall. Would you be happy if the women of your family are brought into this hall? How upset would you be? What did Yazid do? He took Sayyidah Zainab and brought her in front of all the men. He made Damascus a place of Eid. He said, we have killed the rebels. I want you to turn Damascus into a place of happiness. Imagine this. Sayyidah Zainab, she's the daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen. She's the granddaughter of the Prophet. She's the best of the women of Medina, is being brought in as a slave. Why? Because she is willing to go through that, so you, our generations, will know who Imam Hussein is, will know what he died for, and so that we, like her, will go to a little bit of trouble to go and spread the message. Look at that trouble they went to. We need to take a little bit of trouble, a few minutes of our time. So this verse is referring to the people that leave their homes, emigrate, and go to a new land. At the time when the Prophet was in Medina, 2 companions died. This is the reason for the revelation of this verse. 2 companions died. They were from Mecca, they were Muhajirin. They left Mecca to go to Medina. The people that welcomed them are called the Ansar. They are the supporters of the Prophet. They gave allegiance. They said, we will support you. If you come to Medina, we will fight for you. We will become Muslims. The Prophet realized that Mecca was too dangerous. He couldn't stay there anymore. 13 years he preached, and he had maybe a couple of hundred followers. Maybe 300, the narrations say, not more than that. And 13 years, that was all he was able to extract from the people of Mecca because they were so stubborn. So he left and went to Medina. 2 of the companions with him, they died in Medina. Some of the other people of the town said, oh, what a shame. If he died in Mecca, he would have been honored amongst his people. He would have been buried near his father and grandfather. The people of Mecca would know who he is. If he died in battle, we could say, Fulan was a shaheed. This person died, in his sleep. It's a bit sad. The verse was revealed, saying that if you do hijrah for the sake of Allah, not for your sake, not for the sake of your bank account, not for the sake of what your wife wants, for the sake of Allah, you do hijrah. You leave your family, you leave your home, you leave your land, you go somewhere else, and you are killed, shaheed, or you die. And if you die a natural death, you will receive. So now it's equating both of them. The shaheed, the martyr, and the person who dies a normal death. You do hijrah, and either you die a normal death, or you are killed, Allah will give both of you the same reward. He will give you rizq. This rizq is not in this life, it is the hereafter. How many times we've heard people, oh, mashallah, he has so-and-so, this person, he's got lots of rizq, he's got a house and car. But how hard did that person have to work for it? Nobody in this world gets something for nothing. No such thing as a free lunch, they say. You can't get money and wealth doing nothing. Even if it's haram, you have to do it, you have to work hard, either lose your honor, you lose your hereafter, you lose your religion, you lose your reputation, you lose time, you lose health, you lose your age. Something you have to give to get back. You study for years, or you work in a company for years, or you open up a shop every single day working for years to get some rizq. The rizq of Rabbil Alameen in the hereafter, you don't need to work for it. In the hereafter, Allah gives it to you. The rizq in this life, you work for it, but it could go any minute now. You could have bad health, you could be made redundant, it could be a crash in the stock market, and so on and so forth. In the hereafter, once the tap is turned on, the rizq comes, it doesn't stop. Allah gives it to you without any effort and without stopping, it carries on. So in this life, you work hard, you get lots in the hereafter. Allah says, my rizq is different from the rizq that you have here. So let us, inshallah, when we look at this event of the hijrah, study some of the background. The first hijrah, who can remember the first hijrah that occurred in the history of the Muslims? It was to Abyssinia. The Prophet, while he was in Mecca, was told that the conditions for your people are so severe, send some of them away to a foreign land. The Prophet chose Abyssinia because the king, the Negus of the time, was a Christian. And the Prophet realized there is a common language between the Islamic faith and the Christian faith. The belief in one God, the belief in the prophets, the belief in some ethics, the belief in worship. There is something there that we can use to communicate. So he sent Ja'far ibn Ali, Ja'far, the brother of Ali, Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. His brother, his cousin, and the brother of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he said, go and take these people. The narrations say around 70 people. Go towards Abyssinia and speak to this king in our verses, in our tongue, and explain that we are a similar faith. This was the first hijrah, and Ja'far arrived, he was chased by the Quraysh. The king was forced to conduct like an open court to see who was telling the truth. The Quraysh said, these are slaves of ours, they have fled, we want them back. Ja'far says, we are not slaves, we are free men. The only reason they have chased us is because they want to kill us, because we say there is one God. And the Christian king said, I'm interested now, you believe in one God. And Ja'far added to that. He said, I can tell you more. The Qurayshi said, actually, he doesn't believe in Jesus. He doesn't believe that Jesus is the Son of God and so on and so forth. He even says bad words about Maryam. So the Negus said, hold on, this is a serious allegation. Ja'far, what do you have to say about this? Ja'far said, what I'm going to say is not from me. It is from Allah. It was revealed to the Prophet. He gave me these words to speak to you about. We call this the Surah Maryam today. We call it Surah Maryam, the words that he started to recite. About how Maryam was told that you were going to bear a child. And she said, I'm a virgin, I've not been married. How can I give birth? She says, this is Allah's will. And when the child is born, she said, how will I do? How will I face the people? Allah says to Maryam, you don't have to do anything. the child will speak. The Nakis hearing this said, this is exactly what we have in the Bible. This is exactly what we believe. There is no difference between us and you. O Qurayshis, go back. Go back to Mecca. I will never give up these people. This was the first Hijrah, and they remained there for years until the Prophet moved back to Medina. And he stayed there a few years. In the year 5 or 6 Hijri, then these people came back from Abyssinia to Medina. This was the first Hijrah. They left behind their family, some of them. They left behind their homes, their wealth. They left behind the country they knew, went to a foreign land. The first Hijrah. The second Hijrah was the Hijrah of the Prophet. The Quraysh decided that the Prophet is not going to give up. We've offered him wealth, he won't accept. We've offered him leadership of Mecca to take the place of some of the elder leaders. We've offered him leadership, he hasn't accepted. We went to Abu Talib, we said, go to him, go to your nephew and offer him and say, we will make you leader of the Arabs. This Hijaz area, wherever people will ask, who is the leader of the Arabs? We will say, Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Muhammad said, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, he said to them, if they put the sun in my right hand, he said to Abu Talib, go and tell them this. If they put the sun in my right hand, and they managed to get the moon and put it in my left hand, so I control the universe in a way. They put these two in my right and left hands, I will not give up this message. The Quraysh were astounded. This man, they thought he's stubborn and he's dangerous. They convened at Dar al-Nadwa, a place where they used to carry out their plans and strategy. They said, the best thing to do is to kill the Prophet. How? Abu Jahl, apparently upon the inspiration of Shaitan, said to them, let's find one person from each clan, so not from one house only, from 10, 15 houses. They go attack the Prophet at the same time, and they stab him at the same time, so that when they say, who killed him? We can't say Fulan, one person. We say, all the Arabs, all the Quraysh killed him. And that way his family cannot take retribution. The Holy Prophet was warned by Allah, saying to him, this night you will need to leave, because the Quraysh have made plans to kill you. Leave someone in your place. Leave someone, because when you go out of Mecca, not everyone has left. There are still women that left behind. Fatima, the daughter of Hamza. Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet. Fatima, one of the cousins of the Prophet. The 3 Fawatim. This is an example. There are other Muslims still there. There is things that need to be done, taken care of. There needs to be a leader in Mecca in your absence for this short amount of time. Leave someone in your place. Who does the Holy Prophet ask? Sahaba, ulama, companions, reverts, shuyukh, whoever. Who does he go to? Ali ibn Abi Talib. How old is Ali ibn Abi Talib? 20 years old. He left everybody else and goes to Ali. He said, Ya Ali, I have been ordered to leave Mecca. I have been ordered to have someone in my place. Will you do it? Amir al-Mu'minin says, will this make you safe, Ya Rasulullah? He said, yes. He said, this is what I am born for. I am born to protect you. I live to protect you. This is exactly what I want. Go, Ya Rasulullah. Amir al-Mu'minin stays in his place. The Quraysh attack. Amir al-Mu'minin confronts them. They're surprised. Where is the Prophet? He is left. Tell us where. He says, no. One of them challenges. Amir al-Mu'minin kills him. The rest disappear. As happens later on in history. The Prophet heads out towards Medina. Unfortunately, one of the men of Quraysh manages to catch up to the Prophet. Even though he managed to enter the cave and Allah created 2 miracles to distract the non-believers, still one of them managed to track down the Prophet. He came very close to the Prophet and he said, Ya Muhammad, you're in my hands now, I've got you. And he raised his sword. He said, what is going to stop me from killing you? The Prophet said, Allah. The man went to strike, his feet sank in the sand. He looked and he said, Wallah, you certainly have a powerful protector. The man, when he sank into the sand, his sword fell. The Prophet took his sword. The man said, what is going to stop you, Ya Rasulullah, from killing me? He said again, Allah will stop me. The man came out of the sand. The Prophet gave him back the sword. The man went to strike again. He sunk again. The man said, I believe. Now I have to believe. There is no other way of thinking about this. The Prophet made his way to Medina. He waited for Amir al-Mu'minin. He waited on the outskirts. Amir al-Mu'minin arrived with the Fawatim. They entered Medina. The Prophet began now to establish an Islamic state. He began to work with the various communities there. He began to speak to people about thinking of the future, not just the here and now. Think about those who are less fortunate. Think about how you can teach them about Islam. he says the tax of knowledge is to teach it. The tax of wealth goes to the government, goes to various authorities. The tax of knowledge, teach it to other people. He says, find who can read and write. Bring them to me, send them to Yemen, send them to Bahrain, send them to Sham, and go and tell them this is what this Prophet says. He asks you to join Islam for so and so reason. He started a mission of peace, of da'wah. So this was the second Hijra in early days of Islam. And Imam Hussein, salamullahi alayhi, he was forced into a Hijra. The people of Kufa wrote letters of support to him. And Yazid wrote a letter to the governor of Medina saying, take the bay'ah, the oath of allegiance from al-Hussein, or kill him. Don't wait, go and do it. The governor forces Imam Hussein into a meeting and tries to get him to give allegiance. Imam Hussein refuses. He is now almost trapped. He needs to come out with a strategy. He goes to visit the Holy Prophet. He falls asleep. In the dream he sees the Prophet saying to him, you will join us soon, but not yet. You have to give something so that you enter within us. All of us have given something. Ya Hussein, you need to give something precious so you can join us. Imam Hussein knows what it is. He knows it is his life. The next day he decides, if I remain in Medina, either they're going to drag me into the court, and we've seen it can happen. These people have no respect for Khalifa or Imam or leader. They will drag them in chains and make them do certain things. In which case, his mission is defeated. Or they will send someone to assassinate me, and the world won't know what I have done. The later generation of Muslims will not know why I stood up against Yazid. It will die by poison, as some of the Imams were killed. Poison. I will die by someone shooting something from afar, someone stabbing me, someone killing me while I'm in prayer. They will do it. The Banu Umayyah will use these methods. So let me go somewhere else where I can preach a bit more openly. And the Imam begins his Hijrah and leaves from Medina, goes to Mecca. In Mecca, on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, inshallah, some of you have been to Hajj and will get the opportunity to go to Hajj. The 8th of Dhul Hijjah, you know what day that is. It is the day that people go towards Arafah. Because if you're not in Arafah on the 9th, there is no Hajj. You haven't done the Hajj. So everyone takes their belongings, everyone goes to do the Ihram, does what they need to make their way to Arafah. What does Imam Hussein do on the 8th day? And he's mustati', he has the capability, he is there. What does he do on that day? He leaves Mecca. People in their thousands are going towards Arafah to do the Hajj. Imam Hussein is going the other way. He is saying to them, where I am going, what I'm doing is more important than this Hajj of yours. You do the Hajj now, in a few years you'll do it wrong. In a few years you'll forget to pray. In a few years there'll be no religion. Maybe there'll be no Kaaba, maybe there'll be no Hajj left. It happened in Abdul Malik ibn Marwan's time. Look up history. Abdul Malik ibn Marwan, he had a war with Abdullah ibn Zubayr. A few years after the death of Imam Hussein. He told his Syrians, his Shamis, the supporters that he had in Sham, said, don't go to Hajj. You can do Hajj of Jerusalem. Go do the Tawaf there. He did not want them to go to Mecca so they don't learn from Abdullah ibn Zubayr and start joining Abdullah ibn Zubayr. He said, the Prophet said there are 3 great mosques. The mosque in Mecca, my mosque in Medina, and Masjid al-Aqsa. Masjid al-Aqsa is mentioned in the Quran. Go and do Hajj there. SubhanAllah. So a few years after Imam Hussein's death, people are trying to change the Hajj itself. One of the governors of Yazid prayed Salat al-Fajr while he was a drunk, 4 rak'ah. 1 or 2 of the people behind him started to murmur. One of them had the courage and said, Ya Amir, you prayed Salat al-Fajr 4 rak'ah. He replied to him, he said, do you want me to add 4 more? Make it 8 rak'ah? So this person, and nobody said anything to him. Nobody took out their sword to kill him. Nobody said, you're wrong. Nobody said, get out of here. We're going to write a letter. We're going to get you fired. No. If he'd prayed 8 rak'ah, they would have prayed. This is the danger, brothers and sisters. Hajj is going to get changed. Salah is going to get changed. Who you follow in faith, that's going to get changed. Verses of the Quran were being changed. Hadith was being forged. Imam Hussein had to put an end to this. So when he leaves Hajj and leaves Arafah and goes towards Karbala, thousands of people are going this way, he's going the opposite way. Know what it is for. It is so that he can wake all these people up. One of the ways of treating the mentally ill patient, even till today, is to give them electric shock therapy. To give them light jolts of electricity to shake them out of their slumber, out of their condition. This is exactly what Imam Hussein did to this ummah. He puts a massive electric shock therapy so that we can learn from him. So today, when we look at Imam Hussein's move from Medina to Mecca, and specifically from Medina, the way he left the Prophet's mosque, who was the person that was involved in arranging this? It was Abu al-Fadl Abbas. His job was to be the standard bearer. His job was to take care of the family of the Prophet. His job was to keep an eye on the women and children. And Sayyidah Zainab, as she approaches her horse to be carried on this horse, Al-Abbas, her brother, steps forward. He helps her ride on this horse. He takes the children one by one, makes sure everyone is ready and set. He leads them out. He's the standard bearer. They enter Mecca in the same condition. They get to Karbala in the same condition. But after the night of the 10th, what condition are they in? How is Zainab going to be carried? When she's taken to Sham, who is going to help her get on the camel? Who is there to say, Zainab, I will help you. I will make sure you and the children are safe. Zainab looks around. She's made sure that every single one of the children is on a camel. She looks around. There is no one to help her. She turns back to the battlefield. And she says, Ya Abul Fadl, you promised me in Medina. Where are you, Ya Abul Fadl? You left me. How am I going to get on this camel? Who is going to make sure I'm safe in this journey? They make their way to Sham. She comes back to Karbala on the day of Arba'een. She stays there for 3 days. She remembers on the night of the 11th of Muharram, the enemies came forward and they said, where are the women of Bani Tamim? We have got for you safety. You can leave the battle, you'll be safe. Where are the women of Bani Asad? Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad says, you are free. Eventually the women of Karbala all left. And Zainab looked. This is the granddaughter of the Prophet. This is the granddaughter of the Prophet. This is the granddaughter of the Prophet. I am the granddaughter. Where is the person who will seek for us safety? She looked around. Where's Abu al-Fadl? Where's Al-Abbas who promised to take care of me? They enter Medina. The poet welcomes them. They say to him, go and announce to Medina who we are. Because when we left, we looked like we are the grandchildren of the Prophet. But today when we come back, we have no men with us. We bear the signs of torture and pain. We look as if we have aged years. Ya Rasulullah, how sad is it for us to come back on this day? So when Sayyidah Zainab arrives back in Medina and the people start to commemorate these majalis, people start to talk about Imam Hussein. Why did he go out and fight? Why did he die? What did he achieve? What is Yazid going to do? It is on the day of Karbala, on the day of Ashura, that Yazid died. Finished. And Imam Hussein born. Because till today, we know everything about Imam Hussein, but nobody cares about Yazid. Not interested in Yazid. We look to Imam Hussein to guide us, but nobody looks to Yazid for guidance. And this is the triumph of Imam Hussein. So inshallah, I won't take any more of your time. We will take some of these messages, a bit of what you hear from me, from the other speakers, what you hear on the TV, and go and take it back. Even the young ones, go to your schoolmates. And you tell them, you know why I'm wearing black today? You tell them, you know why I'm going to miss the 14th of November because it's Ashura? Because so-and-so happened. Imam al-Hussein is not less than the people that fought in the First and Second World War. He deserves remembrance. The people that wear poppies, some of them Muslims ourselves, we wear poppies on these days. We should also wear something for Imam Hussein. When we go and attend these ceremonies, we should also attend the ceremonies for Imam Hussein. It is your duty, brothers and sisters. I repeat, your duty, wajib upon you to keep the affair of the Ahl Bayt alive. Alhamdulillah, in this country, nobody's affected your safety. You're safe and free to do what you want. Your brothers and sisters in Pakistan, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Bahrain, in Saudi Arabia, all are prevented from doing majalis. Some of them are attacked physically, and you see on the TV every day, mashallah, it doesn't stop. 30, 50, 100 killed, suicide bombings, attacks. It doesn't end. Yet this is nothing, only a drop in the ocean of what Imam Hussein gave. If you die, you don't need to see your brothers and sisters and your sons go out in the battlefield and be butchered and killed. You don't need to hear that your family will be taken from one place to another, paraded in front of men, and laughed at, and stones thrown at them, and cursed. You won't have to face any of this. So inshallah, we'll end here and make sure that we keep the remembrance, the message of Imam Hussein alive, and to spread as much as we can this voice of Imam Hussein to all parts of the world. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.
Just a reminder, if you're not already aware, that our English program starts promptly at 7:30 and will end by 8:30. So please do kindly arrive on time. After the speaker, inshallah, we will have a Q&A session upstairs in the mosque for about 15 minutes. And that will start from tomorrow, inshallah. Salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. माशाल्लाह माशाल्लाह बिल्कुल इसी जज्बे से और इसी बुलंदी आवाज़ के साथ जरा मिलकर एक मरतबा फिर